Hello and welcome to today's web seminar. Today we'll be discussing the impact of the Google SSL mandate on insurance agency websites. This webinar is brought to you by Startup Selling and features guest speaker Alan Bloom. Alan is an author and the founder of Startup Selling. He's written 2 books, Your Virtual Success and Sell More and Work Less, was named to the Inc. 500 list in 2 consecutive years, has written over 150 insurance marketing articles, and is widely considered to be an insurance marketing expert. I'll be your moderator today, and my name is John Scranton. I'm an agency marketing pro who was previously a licensed producer, like many of you, with a top 100 agency. I'm an MBA, co-author of Sell More and Work Less, and have published over 1,000 insurance marketing blogs. So with that, Alan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, John, and we're happy to see so many people attending today. I can understand why this is such an interesting topic and a timely topic. So today we're going to talk about the following: cybersecurity threats and how pervasive they've become. What is SSL? What is Secure Socket Layer Cryptographic Protocol? Google, why they're so concerned with SSL and what it has to do with your insurance agency website, and how you can keep your site secure aside from SSL. And you can see the image on the bottom of the screen here, the Equifax hack, which involved literally hundreds of millions of people, exposing all of us, basically anybody who had financial or credit information, to the hack. It was a big deal, and it's one of the many things pushing people to SSL. So let's start with some basic numbers. In 2015, over 175 million personal records were exposed from cyber hacking. Astronomical, half the population of the United States. 2016 saw an increase, a dramatic increase in cyber breaches. And this was due to a variety of factors, including phishing attacks. And if you're not familiar with phishing, the PH version, it's where you have an erroneous email that is sent, perhaps with a form to fill out, and people are phishing for information, personal information, to help them better hack your identity. Increased breaches through mobile phones, which people sometimes don't think of when they're thinking of hacking. They think of PCs and laptops and tablets, but mobile phones are becoming a real big issue for people. And even medical devices and cloud-based systems are now becoming pervasively under attack. So pretty much the mantra has been, people are after the information, and they're going to do everything they can to get at that information. Now, 2015-16, now we come to 2017. And in 2017, major organizations that are supposed to have tremendous security protocols in place were clearly hacked. And you know these names really well. These are household names and theoretically sophisticated entities. For example, D&B, Dun & Bradstreet, Hitachi, HBO. You probably recall threatening to release pictures on the internet before they were coming out. Equifax, which was one of the big ones, and I don't know about you folks, but I used Equifax to try to prevent identity theft, and they were hacked over a period of months, by the way. Those are some of the large-scale attacks. There were even more small-scale attacks. In fact, my brother-in-law has a small company, and he was the subject of a ransomware attack. More than half of internet users are suspected that their personal information has in some way been exposed now, has been hacked. And Forbes has estimated that there's nearly 30,000 websites which are hacked every day. Hard to believe, astronomical number. Now, what's this got to do with you? What does it have to do with SSL? And what is SSL in the first place? SSL is Secure Socket Layer. It's a cryptographic protocol. That sounds complex, but basically it's data encryption. It does a couple of really important things for you. One, of course, is anyone who passes that test is more likely to be a respected an entity that is not going to try to pirate or steal your information. So right away, as soon as you get an SSL certificate, your credibility goes up, and it actually will help with your SEO, which we're going to talk about in a second. Now, it also makes your site less attractive to hackers, not that it can't be hacked, but because the information is encrypted. So it's going to be much more difficult for them to get at the information. It's more secure information. So if you think of the mail, the traditional post office, snail mail, and somebody sends you a letter, they send you a holiday card. And that holiday card now goes from the post office, where it's theoretically secure, and it goes on a truck to your mailbox, and during that process it's less secure. And while it's sitting in your mailbox, it's completely insecure before it gets into your hand, before it gets into your house. So with all this going on, we see that in the middle of the process, your data is not secured. Now, if they open that letter or they open that holiday card and it's encrypted, they wouldn't be able to read it. That's the idea with SSL, that during the process, if somebody were to get at the data, it's encrypted and it can't be read, or it's extremely difficult to be read. Now, SSL makes your data more secure, it makes your form data more secure, but it doesn't really make your site that much more secure from hacking. Your site can still be hacked. We'll talk about some of the things you can do to prevent that in a moment. But at least your data is secure or more secure. Now, SSL certificates are relatively inexpensive. They cost, $50, $75. It depends on where you get them and who your hosting provider is. It's an annual cost. It's an important investment. It's one that every agency website should have. If you have a lot of websites, you can actually buy them in bulk, and they're less expensive than $50 each. It's been around for a long time. It is a very trusted solution. Now, where do you see this SSL indicated, the secure versus non-secure? Up at the top left-hand corner of your browser, you will see either something that looks like a lock or it says secure, or a round eye for additional information. And you could check that. You should make sure your site, you check your site, sites that you visit. But if it's not secure, at a minimum, you'll get the eye, and there could be a message or a warning saying your connection to the site is not secure. If you click on it, you get the info secure, not secure information that you see in the background. What the site should look like, and this is a picture of the Startup Selling site using a Google browser, you see it says secure HTTPS. That's the difference between an SSL site and a non-SSL site. Instead of HTTP : it says HTTPS : and in some cases, depending on the browser, it might show up in green, for example. Now, beyond that, that's just the warning from the browser. If you're familiar with SERPs, search engine results pages, soon, now, at any time, you could be flagged as being a site that is not a secure site, and it comes right up on your search results. So if you're counting on your site to be bringing traffic, to be bringing prospects, to be bringing clients to you, you really want your site to be SSL certified. I would say today, it's not an option. It is a mandatory requirement, and perhaps the number one entity that's pushing this is Google. Google has arguably 60% market share or more for browsers, especially for business searches. And if you're having trouble with their browser, then you're going to have trouble, period. So when they got involved, they said, hey, we're really concerned with website security, completely understandable, by the way. And they said, any website lacking an SSL certificate will become flagged. Initially, they said it's just going to be for pages that have forms on them, like a contact us form or a quote form. But then, as time evolved, they said, nope, any page that is not SSL could get a warning and could be flagged in our search engine results. And of course, we let all of our clients know. We're letting you folks today know if you're not SSL, you really need to do that right away. Of course, it's not just Google Chrome anymore. Microsoft Edge, Mozilla Firefox, and so on are all doing similar things. And they're also getting on the bandwagon saying we want sites to be SSL authorized and SSL secure. Now, beyond the SSL certificate, it's absolutely critical that you make sure your website itself is as secure as possible from hacking. Not that you might have information that could be stolen on your website. You might just, have general content on it, no client information, no emails, no HIPAA information, and so on, no credit card information. But regardless, the hassle of getting hacked is huge. And if you're hacked, let's say you get a malware infusion, the search engine results page say this site may be hacked and may have malware, and often you'll come up to a giant red warning before you get to the site saying, don't go further, this site has been compromised. So obviously, we don't want that to happen. So yes, SSL makes your data secure. It is positive for your SEO rankings, your insurance agency search engine optimization results. It's important for that because the algorithms that Google and other people use now take it into consideration whether or not your site is SSL and give ranking priority for SSL sites. But beyond that, you want more than just SSL certification to stave off cyber hackers. So there's many other practices that you should be using, that you should be considering. Some of these, and they may seem basic, yet every day we see people not doing them, is high security passwords. So if your password is your name, Mike 12345, it's a very easy password for hackers to guess or to attempt. And hackers, of course, use all types of automation to try to break into your site, including something called brute force attacks. Well, a high security password makes it much more difficult for them to do that. Usernames. Using the username Mike is not a good username. So using non-standard, more sophisticated usernames will help with hacking. And we see, again, many client sites, many clients use WordPress. It's a standard now. It's a great system. And they make their username admin. Well, no, that's not a good username. That's one that's easily guessed by hackers. You want to have a much more robust admin name. You should also rotate your passwords. Every 3 months, every 6 months, change a password. That helps immensely. Most organizations don't do it. Today, it can be automated where every 6 months it automatically asks for a new password. A big one that we don't see used, which is absolutely fantastic for thwarting attacks, including brute force attacks, where an automated system keeps pounding on your system to try to guess the correct password, is a password limiter, a login attempt limiter. And what this does is, let's say John, who's on the call, he wants to try to break into our website. And he guesses the password and he says Mike1234. He's refused. But what's to stop him from saying Mike12345 and so on and so on? And he makes 1,000 guesses a minute. The login attempt limiter will do this. What it does is the first time he guesses wrong, he can guess again right away. The third time he guesses wrong, it says you have to wait 5 minutes. The fourth time he guesses wrong, he has to wait a half an hour. The sixth time he guesses wrong, he has to wait 2 hours, and so on. And what that does is it frustrates hackers, and they move on to other sites. They just don't bother with you. So that, along with things like form submission best practice, making sure your website is up to date. If you're using plugins, making sure they're up to date. You're using a current version of PHP. You're on a reputable hosting provider. Your HT access file is in good shape and you're monitoring it. Very important that you stay abreast with what's happening with your website and that you keep on top of your website security, your SSL, and your just in general, even your emails that pertain to your website. So with that today, this is a short webinar, a power webinar we call them. We would be happy to answer any questions that you like. You can send them to John Scranton, John S. at startupselling.com. We can do a website review with you if you're not yet on SSL. If you are all set with your website and you're not SSL, you should contact your hosting provider or your website developer and make sure you take care of that right away. Do not wait, do not delay until March or April, because the fact that you're not yet SSL is hurting you every day from a search engine optimization standpoint, to a security standpoint, to a credibility standpoint, and even potentially with prospects and clients, which is going to impact your top and your bottom line. With that, we thank you all, so many of you, for attending this brief webinar today. Look forward to other monthly webinars on topics of interest to insurance agencies in the very near future. We hope you have a great day and enjoy the holiday season. This web seminar is now ending.